sure to realize or to remind them that the documentation part is also important for you to follow through, right? And when we move to sharing and publishing, so this is where we bring in bridges, right? Bridges will be shown by Syahmi after this, but when we talk about sharing and publishing, this is when we introduce bridges to our students, right? So as you can see, how will you share the data? So some students will be like, I do not know. Some students will say it's still too early in my research, journey. Maybe in the future I'll be able to answer this. But what we're doing right now is we're actually showing them that this is some of the devices. These are some of the choices that you have for you to store your data. So we make them understand and we make them realize that you have certain choices, but we make our students understand that Monash network storage is only available in Australia. So in Malaysia, we technically really have Google Drive only if it's a private one. Okay. All right. And then last but not least, we talk about retention and disposal. So this is where we draw their attention. How are you going to retain that particular data? How will you dispose of that particular data? So technically, when the students say, okay, I know that my data is contains all the interview of people's face, people's voices. How do I store that? So technically what we do is we let them know how you're going to store it. How long are you supposed to preserve it? How are you going to dispose it? Where are you going to archive your data? So technically, what we are actually doing here is we pose questions, we pose guidelines, we pose advice. But at the end of the day, the students will have to decide with their supervisors on how best to save or manage their data, right? So this is technically what we do or what we share or how we share with our students in Monash University. It's not so much that, okay, I give you my data, deal with it. No. We just tell them you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to have a plan. You're supposed to know what you're dealing with. You're supposed to, be mindful of how you, it's like control that data. Be mindful that it follows the FAIR principles. Okay, right. So now, yes.
Oh, okay. Since we are at the DMP and also the RDM, okay. One question from Puan Mazdah Zakaria. Who developed and prepared the research data management policy for Monash?
For us,
library alone or
yes,
from other
library.
stakeholders?
I think it's like definitely they will have, it's like meetings with stakeholders, so on and so forth. But as you can see, this particular data, it actually belongs, it is written or policy owner is the university librarian. Yes. Of course, with the meetings and so on and so forth, the research and management center, but technically this particular policy is owned by the library. So that is why we provide this to the students.
The developing process is with discussion with other parties, like research management center. All right, okay,
definitely.
Thank you, Ms. Aini.
No problem, no problem. All right. So I think we'll keep most of the questions at the end of the session. What we're going to do right now is it is a hands-on session. Usually this is where we, it's like grab our students' attention. We explain to them or we show them what Bridges is all about and what it can do for us, right? So as I was mentioning earlier, Monash University subscribes or we work with Figshare to come up with the Bridges. So technically the governing body of Bridges is Figshare, but it's a paid subscription by the university in Australia and we rebranded it to Bridges, right? So what Bridges can do for us, very simple. Number one, we let our researcher understand that when you post or when you upload your data and you have a DOI for that particular data, you're actually increasing your discoverability and people will be able to engage with your research. So please be mindful that in Monash, like I was mentioning earlier, if it's an individual work, data belongs to us, the students. So that is why it is up to them to decide to share it, either through copyright or through other license. Okay. Next, we actually get our students, for example, like I was mentioning earlier, if a funder says we need you to publish this, they actually comply with the publisher and funders requirement, right? And like I was mentioning earlier, the data that we upload on Bridges, we have a DOI for it, okay? And then the good thing about Bridges is we allow up to 650 types of file formats to be uploaded. I don't even know how many types are there. I can't be, it's like mention everything, but you have 650 types of files or formats that can be uploaded. And last but not least, people from around the world can access the research files online from anywhere in the world, right? So technically, this is why we encourage or we want our researchers to upload their information on Bridges as much as they want to or as much as they can. Okay, so I believe that is all from me today. Syahmi will carry on this Bridges part. So I hope that I at least managed to, give some understanding. If you do have questions, we'll be more than happy to answer it after this, right? But right now, let's have an, hands-on session with Syahmi. All right, Syahmi, so I'll stop sharing.
Okay, thank you,
And go.
Aini. So let me just share my screen first. Okay, so for this part, you can actually go to bridges.monash.edu because anyone can access this because it is like publicly available information and content. But for uploading data, it's only for the Monash users. So for this part, I'm just going to show you two things. One is how you can search for data on our Bridges, and another one is how for researchers to upload their data on Bridges. So let me just go to the search bar here and do a simple search, which is big data. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So it will go to the search result page. And as you can see, we have like thesis, presentation, data sets, and many more. And as mentioned by Aini just now, Bridges can be uploaded like a lot of file formats that you can do so. And let's say if it's like you only want data sets, you only want to see the data sets that are available on Bridges, you can use the filters on the left side. If you scroll down here, under item type, you can see here, we have thesis, data sets, figure, and if you want to look for other item types, you can click show more here as well. So if you are interested in other items, you can click on any of the items here. But for today, we'll go for data sets. Okay, and then click apply. So these are all the data sets for the term big data. And let's say if you want to go even more in terms of the licensing of the data sets, because as you know, for researchers, you can share your data sets on Bridges, but it is up to you on how you want your data sets to be able to be shared or used by other researchers, meaning that whether it is in for commercial use, whether they can adapt or remix their your data. Here you can use the filter of licensing to know which CC by Creative Commons licenses that you want to filter by. If you're still not sure what sort of Creative Commons licenses that you want to use for researchers, they want to use to share their data, later on I'll show you where you can find a tool or where you can find like a table or graph that is accessible for everyone to know what are those Creative Commons licenses that you want to use. Okay, so let's just pick on one example here. Let's say it's this one, the first one. So if they have uploaded the data on Bridges, the data can be shown on top here, and these ones are a document file, Word document file. As mentioned by Aini, it can be any other document files or any other file types. It can be like Notepad, it can be from other softwares. So if you have multiple data sets, you can upload it as well. You can either download individually or download all by clicking on download all here. So these are all the information that can be shown on the dataset details page, but I won't go through this yet. I'll just show you how for a researcher to upload a data on their page, their details page, and then we'll go through the details of the metadata record that can be shown on the details page here. Okay, so to do that, I can just go to my dashboard by clicking on my data. So by clicking on my data, you will go to your dashboard and it will show you all the items or data sets that you have uploaded on Bridges. As of now, I only have two. One is which is information search skills, which is just a demo that I've done during the previous class, where this is publicly available, where if you go to Google and search for information search skills and Syahmi, you are able to get to this particular item. And another one is research metrics, where it is also a presentation type, item type, but it is unpublished. So if you want to know whether it's published or not, you can click on status, and you can see here, the green circle means it is public, meaning anyone can view, while the gray circle means that it is private. It is unpublished, meaning that only you can see the item that you have uploaded, which is not being publicly available yet. So how do researchers upload their data on Bridges? You can just click on create a new item here. Okay, and it bring you to this menu where you have two options. One, you can upload or drag your items or data sets to this top of the page here, or you can just click here to put only the metadata record only. So what does it mean by putting only the metadata record only? So there are some cases where you do have other items published in other platforms, and you do have an agreement with that platform or publisher in terms of where you can publish your items. But you do want to put the information of your data in Bridges. So you do have the option of putting the metadata record only, and then putting the links to that item or to that data sets that you have, or journal articles from a previous from that other platform of database to this item here, so that it will be linked to your data sets. So you can do two things. One is the metadata record only, or upload your files here. Then you have to fill in the mandatory fields, which you can see here, the green circles. These are the mandatory fields that you need to fill in order to publish. So let's go with demo title. Authors, of course, it automatically detects my name, Syahmi Dzulkarnain, but you can also put in other co-authors. So if you have other co-authors or other co-researchers that you want to highlight in terms of have worked on your projects, you can do so by putting in the name, full email, or ORCID ID if the researcher has an ORCID ID. Categories. Okay, so categories here are the Australian field of research, where it covers the subject categories that somehow your research are focusing on. So let's say if I'm doing chemical sciences and go with organic chemistry. So there are other options that you can choose, and you can also choose multiple categories, so don't worry. But let's say if in those categories, because these are very niche categories from the Australian field of research, some of the categories that you are focusing on may not be in the categories field here. So you do have the option of putting it under keywords, where when you add keywords here, it's for easy discovery. Not only that you can put like the category that it cannot be found in categories, but also simple keywords that can be more searchable by other researchers. So any like basic words, general words that are related to your project or data. Then I choose the item type, which is data sets. So let me just put here biology, and make sure you click enter so that it will process the keywords. And you put in the description. Now, the description is a very important section of the datasets details page, where it will describe what this data is all about. Maybe like in terms of the updates of the data, if you do have any updates, new updates that is pertaining to the data that you want to highlight in your details page. So you do have this part here to put in more context of what this dataset, the datasets you're uploading is all about. So let me just put here tests. Again, this is just a demo. So once you have filled in all of the green circles here on top, you do have other optional fields that you may want to consider when you want to fill in your details page for the data sets. For example, the funding, where you put in the grants, any funders for your research projects, you can highlight in this field here. Now, we also have the resource title and the resource DOI. So this is if you have like a journal article that you have published, let's say in Taylor and Francis or Science Direct, and then you also want to link your journal article with the datasets from Bridges. So you can put the title of that journal article here, as well as the DOI that the article has received from publishing in Science Direct or Taylor and Francis, and then you can put the DOI here as well. You may also do so in the references part, where if you do have any DOI that are related to your research projects or related to your data sets, you can link them by putting the DOI, multiple DOIs or multiple links under the references. And another mandatory field that you have to choose is the CC BY license. So here you can choose which CC BY license is suitable for you in terms of how you want to share your data. Now, if for a researcher, we tell them if you're not sure on what type of Creative Commons license that they want to use for their data, is that they can do a simple Google search where they can find like tables or images, sort of something like this, where it tells you like they can copy and publish. It requires attribution for commercial use, yes or no. So by looking at this photo, they were able to know which CC BY license which are suitable for them. We can also ask them to go and search for Creative Commons license tools, where we showcase this website, License Chooser, where they will ask you questions. For example, do you know which license you need? Let's say, I don't know. So click on next. Do you want to be credited for your work? Of course, so yes. And then it will go down. Do you want to allow others to use your work commercially? So say yes. Do you want others to remix or adapt or build upon your work? Let's say yes. Do you want allow others to share adaptation of your work under any terms, meaning that when they want to share their edited version, they either can use the same CC BY license that you are using, or they can use other CC BY license. So let's say no, and then click next. So confirm everything that this is appropriate. So on the right side, it will tell you the recommended license that is suitable for your data sets that you want to share under Bridges. So again, there are multiple Creative Commons license tools that are available online. So you just have to find it, and it is very simple to use in terms of like they will ask you questions and they will let you know what type of license are available. Okay, let's say I'm going with, let's see, what was the other one just now? Yeah, CC BY SA 4.0. This one. All right. Other things that we tell the researcher is to whether they want to apply embargo or not. So apply embargo meaning that let's say if the journal article that you publish in other places, in let's say in Science Direct or Taylor Francis, has been published, but you also want to put the data sets in Bridges. But in terms of the agreement that you have with the publisher or with the database or in the platform, they might say that you can put the data sets on Bridges, but you cannot publish the data sets in this grace period, the time period. So it can be like 4 years, 6 years, or even 1 year, or even permanent, depending on your terms and conditions and agreement with the publisher. So if you click on apply embargo, so it's either you can embargo the entire content, meaning like even the metadata record will not be shown, or let's say if you want to make it like only files, so you want the details page to show these details of the data sets, but the files will be embargoed until the end of the embargo period. And then you can put the reason here as well. And in Bridges, if let's say you want to share your the content that you have developed by putting all these data sets here with your colleagues or your supervisor or any other institution, you can generate a private link where you can take this link and then share it with your colleagues and other people, other researchers. But you do not use this link to reference in papers, because there will be some cases where if a researcher, they want to publish an article in a journal, but they want to also reference the data sets or the items that they have published in Bridges. So they will not use this private link, because this private link is only to be shared with colleagues and all. So if they want to, they have to use the public DOI or the digital object identifier. So let me just disable this and click on reserve digital object identifier. So then Bridges will generate a DOI for the researcher, and this DOI will be used when the researcher wants to reference, put it in their reference. But it will only become active when the item is published. So if you put it, like let's say the item is not, the data sets are not yet published, and then you already put it in the reference, if another researcher or another user go to that DOI, it will just be, not to say useless, you will not be able to get to this page yet. It will have to be, this item has to be published first, then they will be able to get to the data sets that is listed on the reference list. One thing to note also, if because the Bridges gives you a DOI for an item, we do not recommend for researchers to put in items that already have DOI if they already put in other platforms or any other databases. Those that already have DOI can be uploaded on a different platform that we have in Monash, which is called Pure. So that's why we do have inquiries like, can we put articles in articles that we publish in Bridges? Well, because they already have a DOI there, so it is not suitable for them to just put it in Bridges here, because it's like a double DOI thing. So once you have filled in everything, for example, choosing all of this, so you either save changes, so it will be a draft or private, or if you want to publish, then you just click on publish here and publish item. Now, one thing that we will let the Monash researchers know that this is a this is the a storage repository where you will not have the active data that you're working on in Bridges. So this will be your final data form. So once you have confirmed everything, then you'll be able to publish your item, because not like not like Google Drive or OneDrive where you can access like a Word document or Excel and everything and edit. Here is just as a works as a storage, and it makes sure that you already have the final content or final data sets ready, and then you can upload in the Bridges here. So once you have published the item, then it will be publicly available for users or any other researchers to able to access this. So let me just show you an example of a good data set that is presented in Bridges, where you have the item here. Again, you have multiple item formats: CSV, Word document, zip file. You have the title, you have the authors, description of the data sets, the funders, the references, meaning the link to any other related works to the data sets. And then also in Bridges, it will show you the usage metrics, meaning how many people have viewed this item, this data, how many people have downloaded this data, and how many people have cited this data. So it's very useful if for a researcher, they want to look at all those metrics, because I think like nowadays, like for an item, metrics are very important for researchers to look into. And if they link their items to the data sets to an article, then you'll be able to get to this article here by clicking on this link here. And as you can see here, this person has developed a very good categories as well as keywords, where you have the standard category that is developed, that is given by the Australian field of research, but also they have like other keywords that are like specific to the data sets, but also have like general keywords like pollination, computer vision, and many more. You do have the license. So license here, this one is CC by 4.0. If you're not sure what is CC by 4.0, you can just click on the hyperlink here. And it will show you, okay, for CC by 4.0, it is you are able to share, you can able to adapt, but you must also follow the following terms, such as giving appropriate credit, link to the license, and indicate if changes are made. So if not sure if which category does the CC by license for this particular data sets, you are able to click on the hyperlink here. And also, if you want to put it in your citation manager software, we do have the option of exporting these data sets into those sort of EndNote, Zotero, Mendeley, Citavi, and many more. Another good one is this one. Again, multiple data sets, title, descriptions, metrics, funders, and this one, this researcher already put in like multiple references, which I've mentioned just now. If you do have multiple references, you can do so. And then here are the categories that they have put. Again, these keywords may not be in the category section, though, so he put it under the keywords here. Okay. So I think regarding bridges, that's about it. That is like my part in terms of letting the researchers know how they can access bridges and letting know how to store their data. And for Monash users, they are able to store the data for, let me just escape here for a while. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Okay. For 10 gigabytes. But if there are some cases where, you know, when they're doing all this research and they're using different type of software, and sometimes certain softwares will provide you with like a very heavy heavy formats. So if the researcher wants to request for more storage, then they will be able to request for more by clicking on here. So it's very user-friendly for Monash researchers to ask for more storage. Okay, so I guess that's pretty much it regarding bridges as well as this session. So this is what we tell our students during the Monash doctoral program. So we will, like Aini mentioned just now, we go through all of that, including the checklist. So once they have like understand that why do we have to manage data, what is the meaning of pay data, show them the cycle just now and showing them bridges, they will have like an idea on what they will have to do in terms of managing their research data. And of course, after the sessions, we will have like Q&A sessions, and we do have a lot of interesting questions in terms of like embargo, what does it mean by embargo, how to link to other articles, and so on and so on. But yeah, it's really about just conveying the information to researchers on how to store your data and how you can manage and organize them. Again, we don't, in Monash, it is not compulsory, but we encourage them to use the platforms that we have, because, like, of course, we pay for it, and also why not just utilize it? So yeah, I think that's about it. Aini, do you have anything else that you want to add on?
No, I think we can just add on or do anything during the session.
Mr. Syahmi?
Yes.
I think we're about we are on the Q&A session now.
Okay, sure.
Since we are on the bridges, I can say Monash University is moved forward, very advanced. Okay, since you have the platform from the Figshare, and then Monash University subscribe to it, and then develop it and rebrand it to the name Bridges. Okay, you see, so that is in Malaysia. What about, is it the same practice in Australia? They are using the same platform, Bridges?
Yes, they are using the same platform, Bridges, as well. Okay. Because like it's first for Monash University Australia, then it has been brought up in Monash University Malaysia as well. So any researchers from MUM or MUA are able to access Bridges.
And this is available publicly. Once the researchers or the students upload the data sets in Bridges, they are available. The data sets are available publicly.
Yes, as I mentioned just now, like for my part, I have this one here, which is which green circle meaning I already published, meaning it is freely available for the online public. So if I click on my profile, even though I have like 3 like items here, so if I click on my profile here, go to, again, this is just like a demo profile. Let me just go to view your public profile. Then it will only show you the publicly available, the one that I already published. So the ones that I've not yet published will not be shown here.
Okay, I see. We have questions actually at the Zoom. Okay, from Puan Mazlan Zakaria. What roles does RMC here is Research Management Center, play in RDM for Monash? And who started RDM initiative, library or RMC?
Aini, will you take that?
Miss Aini or? Oh, okay.
I think Syahmi, you can stop sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. All right. So technically, if you want to say what role does RMC play, we have to understand that we have a research committee in the university. So that research community consists of, RMC, the library, researchers, and lecturers. So for what I can say is, for now, if it's more on the classes and on what researchers can do, library plays like a bigger role. But REU, the Research Excellence Unit in Malaysia, as in Monash, technically they help govern the students, not so much on, like having a big role, but technically when they come up with a policy on it, so of course, yeah, they will have a role, but getting on, who initiates it, who shares it a lot, it really, really depends and relies on the library a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I think it must come from different stakeholders. It's not like it must come from the research management center and other stakeholders as well in order to develop the research data management. The policy. Okay. And next question from Hashima. Can you share with us the challenges in RDM practices that impact the sharing or using of research data from the researcher?
Can Kwan or Miss Hashima, explain further? It's like, what does she actually mean? As in, it's like impact the sharing and reusing of research data.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. What I mean is that when you started the planning at the library at Monash, so convincing because your focus is mostly on the postgraduate students, right? Okay, so convincing them that it should be shared, okay, and it can be reused, because you have two sets of policies for the students and also for the researcher. So are there any, hiccups in doing the planning, the problems that arise, or the, people that anticipate, okay, there might be problem if I want to share, or, something that hinders them from sharing the data?
Okay, so technically, number one, what you have to understand, Ms. Hashima, in Monash, it is not compulsory for them to have this particular research data management plan.
Yeah.
So number one, they don't share it with us. What we do right now is, you have to understand this. Mm-hmm. All we do is we just give them general best practices. So we are not the people who they come to if they have like, okay, should I share my data or not? So technically what they do is, this is between them, supervisor, and the school research. Nothing to do with the library. So
I see. All right.
Yes.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
Right. No worries.
Okay, so let me check whether we have questions from you.
Madam Erni.
Yes.
Okay, so Amir here.
Prof.
Yes.
Prof. Amir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, about the use, because the one that you show is bridges. However, I think what mainly available to the users is for Google Drive, Google Drive.
Yes.
Okay, is there a limit of the storage for this Google Drive?
For us, Monash University, because we do have like a subscription with Google, so there is no limit for us.
Okay, so basically, this storage, let's say either Google or this, will be paid by the library or Monash?
Oh no, this is Monash.
Monash.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
So technically, it's like the library, we do not pay for Google, we do not pay for bridges. It's the university as a whole in Australia. Yeah, so
saja.
for us, it's more on because we are student facing, right? The library is student facing. So that is why giving out classes, sessions, consultations mainly is done by the library itself. So technically for the researchers, what we do or what we usually give them is consultations. It's like if we do have a problem, it's like they don't know where to start, what to do, how to access, then we give them that session. But when it comes to storage, when it comes to it's like the whole technical part of acquiring all these places, it's all Monash University. All we're doing is we just give them directions, help, and consultations for the students.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries, no problem.
Thank you, Prof. Ame. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it's good to know that Monash University have moved forward to the research data management movement, and inshallah, okay. So we try our best, okay, to do the research data management policy, and we are at the beginning stage right now in IIUM, okay. So I also would like to know about the data management plan just now that Ms. Aini shared, okay, and also Mr. Syahmi shared just now. Okay, for the data management plan, actually who developed the data management plan? Is it library or who developed the DMP?
Technically, it's like they don't actually say or manage or, it's like mentioned on the file. But what we understand, again, this is based on the research committee. So it's like the stakeholders will come together. Yeah, because it's as you can see, it's like many stages, many other information it's involved or mentioned in the form, right? So I believe it's the managed stakeholders. They come together and they produce that particular checklist. So technically that checklist is there, like I was saying, as a guide for the researchers, because again, because we do not make it compulsory over here. So that is why maybe that is one of the challenges. But if you want to talk about who came up with it, who, it's like made it like, again, that will be the research committee in Monash.
I see. Okay. So is there any questions from the Zoom participants? Okay, from the YouTube, there are no questions.
Okay.
Okay, so
maybe we can have a photo session. Sementara kita menunggu Madam Irni, maybe we can have a photo session. Can everybody open their camera and use the Zoom background that we shared just now? Okay, I will give a few minutes for everybody to open their camera. We have 4 pages here. Okay, the first one is okay. Wait, I will give another a few minutes. Okay. Okay, I think everybody is ready. So we will start count. Okay, I will count for first page first. 1, 2, 3. You can smile. Okay, then second page. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yes, second page. Okay, done. Okay, we go to third page. 1, 2, 3. And the last page. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry for the inconveniences just now. Saya cakap seorang-seorang rupanya tadi.
Okay, thank you very much.
Alright. Okay. So that wraps up our session for today. So on behalf of Library IIUM, I would like to thank you all for joining us the webinar. So once again, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to the respected speakers and all participants for your presence. Hope to meet you again. Wish you all a pleasant day and stay safe wherever you are. Let's end our session with recitation with Tasbih Kifarah and Surah Al-As.
Okay, thank you, Miss Aini and Mr. Syahmi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Terima kasih, Miss
Thank you.
Aini.
Thank you so much.
Syahmi.
Thank you for attending.
Sama-sama.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
Okay, have a
Assalamualaikum
good day.
semua. Thank
And Miss
you.
Aini.
Alright.